everything on me. I want glitter. I just want to look spectacular. If that is not something that you would normally wear, don't opt for something so extravagant, because it's not going to look like you and you won't feel like you.
When I think of makeup, when I think of contouring, when I think of eyeliner or lipstick, the one Instagram channel that I go to is Lisa Little Makeup Artist. So today, with a conversation with us, we have none other than my favorite Instagram artist, Lisa. So Lisa, tell us how you're doing today.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. They're really strange times, aren't they, at the moment, with obviously the pandemic that's going on. But I think it's not always a bad things. You can practice makeup, we can practice eyeliner, and we get to do things like this. So it's not all bad. You've got to make the best out of a bad situation.
Yes, and having said that, I think before I start with my interview, I have to take my time out and from my side and on the behalf of my entire team of Yodoozy, I have to tell you thank you so much for taking time of your schedule and coming here, because we know the magic you're doing on your Instagram channel and it must be really hectic. So thank you so much for coming and joining us.
No, thank you for having me. Thank you for asking me.
So let's get started, shall we?
Okay.
Um, First of all, Lisa, we all know the wonders that happen on your channel on Instagram, the magic you do with makeup. You have done some amazing, amazing work on people, their faces. Your makeup is outstanding. But what we're really interested in knowing is, how did it all start? What really inspired you to push your boundaries and get in this business of beauty and makeup?
Um, I think it all started when I was about 17, 18. I used to have really problematic skin. So it would go really shiny, really oily. My makeup would never stick. And it really frustrated me, and my confidence was rock bottom. So I decided to read books, and not just words, but visuals. I learn better when I see things visually. So NARS is a major inspiration to me, the brand. And Francois NARS, he wrote a book, and it had pictures of where to place makeup and like hacks that I still use to this day. So I started reading his books, recreating what he was creating in his books, and learned so many different techniques and what makeup can do and how it can change a face, and not just how it looks visually, but how it makes a person feel. It gives them more confidence. It makes them feel good. And I think that feeling for me stuck with me, and I got quite good at what I was doing. So then I started doing it on other people and watching them transform, not just physically in their face, but mentally. It gave them just such confidence. They were so happy, and it's just a really feel good job. So what started out for me as a problem, I found a solution to fix it, which was reading the books, learning how to create new looks, and then applied that to other people, and it just went from there.
Yeah, exactly. I completely agree with you. And I think this one point that you said about how, it added to your confidence. I think a
Mm.
lot of young girls, if not for other people, actually not at all for other people, for their own self-confidence, if that one blemish is bothering them, I don't think there's any problem in, just for your confidence, hide it. And
No,
the fact that they get so much hate for it, it does not make sense at all.
no, it
Yeah.
really doesn't. And I just think you can't mock people for wearing makeup, regardless of whether you think it's too much or it's not the right shade or either. I just think people are wearing makeup to feel better about themselves. So why put them down?
Exactly.
I love makeup and I get blemishes all the time. And I cover them, and it makes me feel more confident. So why would you not? It's not hiding who you are, it's just giving you that confidence and making you feel happy.
Yes, yes. So, Lisa, you have been in this industry professionally for quite some time now. But
Mhm.
do you remember the first time you did a paid gig and how that felt? The first time you earned for this talent of yours?
Um, the first time I did makeup, I went and trained at the Central School of Makeup, which is an international training school. Um, and then once I'd learnt my trade professionally, I then felt confident enough to charge. So I did my first ever makeup. I think I charged £20, and I couldn't believe that somebody was paying me £20 for me to apply their makeup for something that I really loved doing. Um, so, and once I'd done quite a number of faces for £20, I then got more confident. I got quicker. People were liking what I was doing. So then I put my prices up, and people were still paying the price that I put it up to, which was £30. So that was the first ever job I did. I just couldn't believe that someone had paid me to do what I love doing, and that was apply their makeup. Yes, that was the first time, and I was gobsmacked. I couldn't believe it, and then I can't
And
believe
now,
6 years later, I'm still
exactly.
charging, and I'm still working, and people are still paying me to do what I love doing. So it was just always a win-win.
Yes, and you've come a long way. I mean,
Yeah, from
what
doing
you're
makeup in
doing
my
is
kitchen.
amazing.
Pardon?
What you're doing is amazing, and
Oh, thank
it's
you.
just brilliant. So, one thing about this entire industry of makeup and fashion is that it's ever changing. It's very dynamic. So, as a makeup artist, you are a very integral part of even setting the trends and following them. So, how do you keep yourself up to date with all the trends that there are in the industry?
um, So I think I take a lot of inspiration now from makeup artists on Instagram because the diversity is massive. Some of they are Instagram makeup artists are setting trends. So I do follow a number of makeup artists and influencers on Instagram, but I also take massive inspiration from the catwalk. I think we all do. The catwalk, the fashion industry is forever changing. So I think although you do have to adapt the catwalk looks to an everyday or an evening look, they are adaptable. Also, reading and listening to global directors of makeup artistry, I think that's massive. Reading magazines to keep up to date with what they're forecasting for the next season. But to be honest, I don't think there there are beauty trends. Yes, of course there are, but I think you can do whatever you want to do with makeup now. You don't need to follow suit. I just think you can set the trend if you want to. You can do something different, and I feel that what we do as a trend, it's always been there before. It's just 10 years later we're redoing it, or we're creating we're just recreating. It's not nothing new. We're always recreating. It's the same as fashion. It's the same as makeup. We're always just recreating. Um, but yeah, so I do take a lot of inspiration from global artistry directors. I read magazines, Instagram, and the catwalk. They're
Mm,
mainly where I find my inspirations
right.
and the trends.
Right. And this particular field of makeup is a very, very vast art. It's a very vast art form. But if we were to narrow it down to facial makeup, then what do you think is that one indispensable part of makeup? Is it how you contour, how you do your lips, your eyes? What is the most important part of makeup when it comes to the face?
I think for me personally, it would be my foundation because I've had problematic skin. And I think foundation is your base, isn't it? So I think if you've got a really good base, I think everything else can fall into place. I know majority of people would either say lipstick or mascara. They're the two major aspects, but I think it's personal preference. So for me, it would be my foundation base. Or if I couldn't use foundation, I'd use a bronzer because for me, it's all about having that flawless looking skin. I think
Right.
we all strive for flawless, don't we? And I think to achieve flawless, if you've got problematic skin, would be your foundation. For me personally, I wouldn't even walk to the shop. I wouldn't even put my bins out without my foundation on. So for me, it is my foundation.
Right. Okay. And let's be real. I honestly do not own a lot of makeup products. And even if I were to, I would not understand how to use most of them, right? So for
Mhm.
people like me, could you name that one product which is simple to use but still can be used to make an entire look?
Okay, bronzer. So
Okay.
I use bronzer a lot for my face, but I also use bronzer all the time with every single makeup look that I do for eyeshadow. Even if I'm using 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 colors on my eyes, I will still always use bronzer as my base. um I think you can't create a whole look with one product. It's impossible. um you can hide your complexion almost, or maximize your look using bronzer, or you can use it as an eyeshadow. I sometimes scrape some bronzer off and mix it with a little bit of Vaseline to give your lip a nice sheen, but also got that warmth of bronzer to it. um so bronzer is 100% for me a product that you need to have in your makeup bag because it is so diverse.
Mm-hmm.
um you can't be walking around with a really sticky face and using lipsticks all over your face, and you just, I think, yeah, bronzer for me,
Bronzer
100%
it is.
bronzer. Bronzer it is. It's the winner.
Right. So on your Instagram channel, we've all seen that you work with a lot of celebrities constantly. So would you like to name a few of them?
Gemma Collins, Dawn Ward, Georgia Steele, who else? Pearl Naba, Alice Goodwin, Cara Delahoy, Jess Wright. There's a few.
And which one of these was the best to work with? Did you have most fun to work with?
They're all really fun in
Mm.
their own individual way. They're all lovely. I've never had, touch wood, a bad experience with a celebrity before. Um, I've worked most with Gemma Collins. I still work with Gemma now. She was my first ever celebrity that I did. And 5 years later, I'm still doing her makeup now. So I think that's testament to my work. We get on really well. She's so much fun. Um, so Gemma is the one that I know the most. They're all just really nice, but they're all got their own personality, so they all bring something totally different. Georgia's really bubbly and kind, and nothing's too much trouble. They're all really great, all really, really great, and I promise you that. I mean that.
I'm sure. I'm sure. So we often approach makeup artists with a certain look in our minds, like this is how I wish to look.
Yeah.
But for example, if a client of yours approaches to you with a certain look, and you, as a professional makeup artist, you obviously know more about makeup, and you think that that particular look does not or may not go well with the client's, say, skin type or the tone or the dress that they're wearing, and they insist on it. So, what would you do then?
I always listen to what my client wants, always. But if they do ask for something that I don't think is necessarily going to work, I've got to think of the end product, of what they're going to look at when they look into the mirror. And I know, although in their head it's going to work, sometimes I just know it won't. So I will explain to them why it won't work or what would be better. I always try to keep what they want in mind, but adapt it. So I know they're going to like it, and I know it's going to work. And I know ultimately when they walk out the door, people aren't going to look and think, oh, that's not quite right. Because I
Mm-hmm.
want them to feel good. And I know what people want and what people get sometimes can be two very different things. But ultimately, I will listen to what they want. And if I don't think it's going to work, I will ask them if we can maybe switch it a little bit or do some things a little bit different, just so I know it's going to work as a whole look. Um, and that usually works because I know I know what I'm going to do, and they know what they're going to get. I would never just listen to what a client wants and do it, even if I thought it wasn't going to work. I wouldn't just do something. I'd always advise them. But if they still really wanted the look that they want, then I will do that. They're my boss, effectively.
Yeah.
So I
But
have to
then when
do
it comes
what
to
I'm
makeup,
asked.
you know best. So I hope your clients are listening to you.
Yeah, me too. They do. Oh, I've got such a wonderful client base, um, and repeat customers. And I think it's down to you do listen and you have to do a good job. People are paying you, so you do have to give them what they want. But I
Yeah,
need to know that when they walk out that door, it's going to look good.
exactly. You're also a bridal makeup specialist and a breathtaking one. So, what is that one advice that you would want to give to the brides out there who are picking out their bridal makeup?
Um, I think with a lot of brides, it's their big day, so they want to look the best they've ever looked. But what I would say to a bride is, rather than if you're a bride that doesn't wear a lot of makeup and you go to a makeup artist and say, I want to look the best I've ever looked, put everything on me, I want glitter, I just want to look spectacular. If that is not something that you would normally wear, don't opt for something so extravagant, because it's not going to look like you and you won't feel like you. And keep it classic. Classic is so beautiful. And if you have a staple piece, so if you are an eyeliner wearer and that is you wear it day in, day out, you're not you without your eyeliner. Or if you wear, say for instance, a red lip, it's your staple piece, you are a red lip. If you do have a staple piece, stick to your staple. Don't opt not to have it because you want to look different. Have it, because when you look into that mirror, I guarantee you will think something's missing if you haven't got your staple. I always wear a liner, regardless of whether that be a powder liner, a liquid liner, a gel liner. I will always have that definition, that cat eye effect, because it's me. It's what I know, it's what suits me. So if you have something that suits you and that you wear day in, day out, always have it. It could be softened to a bridal look. So a red lip can be massively softened, but you still got that colour and the rouge. An eyeliner flick can be really subtle, but still give you the definition. I would say stick to your staple piece. That is my one advice.
And I
And
think that
don't go over the top.
I think that advice is very diverse. I mean, it is not limited to any one particular culture of brides.
No.
It's very diverse. I mean, I can also use that tip, and somebody else from a different part of the world can use the same advice that you've given to,
Yeah.
stick to your comfort zone on your big day. You do not want to be freaking out. Oh my God, this
No.
is not me. Exactly. I think
People
that's
have so many bridal trials. I have people that come to me, they go, I've had 6 bridal trials. 6 with 6 different artists. I'm like, really? Why? Because they're not them. And I think you've really got to, as a bride, when you go to a makeup artist, you've really got to be specific with what you want. Take photos, so say show what you like. Although those photos could be completely different looks, you can take something from each of that look and combine it to create a full look. Um, but ultimately, you've got to stick to your staple piece. Don't opt not to have it so you look different. You don't want your husband to be squinting, looking down the aisle, thinking, "Who's that?" Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
You want to be you still, but the most perfect version of you that you can possibly be. That's my advice.
That's a great advice. So, talking about advices, one problem that I face, and I think a lot of girls out there are going to relate to this, is when we go to parties, when we leave our home, our makeup is perfect. But halfway through the party, it's all gone. So, you as a makeup artist who manages to look on point all the time, what do you carry on your bag on your night outs?
I oh, when I when I was 18, I used to take my whole makeup bag out with me, and I'd
Mhm.
leave looking all right, and I'd come home looking like a clown, because every time I'd go to the toilet, I'd reapply blusher. So I leave the blusher at home. The blusher stays at home now. I always take a powder and a powder puff just to take away any shine. And powder helps keep your makeup into place. I always take a lip liner and my lipstick and my lip gloss. Because if you're going out to eat, you need to reapply. And my bronzer, always my
Your bronzer.
bronzer.
It's always the bronzer.
If you don't have a bronzer, you really do need to get a bronzer because I just think it's a really important aspect of makeup. Yeah, so always my bronzer, always a lipstick or a lip gloss, always my lip liner, and a powder. And before you go out, always use a setting spray because it will keep your makeup into place.
Yes, yes. So now that you have shared with us our tips to look glamorous at night, what about the women who are, often in rush in the morning to get to office, so they do not have enough time, but they want to look their best. So what can they do?
So if you're in a rush and you've got 5 minutes to get your makeup on because you've got to sort the kids out and get to work, I would use, first of all, I'd use a CC cream rather than a foundation because a CC cream, it can hide blemishes and it can also give you a small coverage on your face without it looking too heavy. I'd always use a liquid blush, so it's really quick, applied on a brush on the cheeks just to give you some life. A little bit of concealer just by the eyes to wake you up. If you've got the time, curl your lashes and mascara them because obviously it will open your eyes, make you look more awake, and just maybe a bit of Vaseline or a really light sheen lipstick. So everything's really quick, easy to apply, gives you colour. I did miss out bronzer there, I'm fully aware, but you don't want to go too heavy for a
In
day
thought.
look. Although I do wear a full face every single day, but I think that's my job. So I've got the time to do it in the morning. But yeah, if I was in a rush, CC cream, liquid blusher, so it doesn't look too heavy, a nice lip, eyelashes lifted, mascara, and then a bit of concealer, just
So
to
you look
wake you up,
perfect.
hide anything
Yes.
dark. Easy peasy. You can do that in 4 minutes.
Really? All right. So, another situation that I always find myself in is that I'm always late for everything. So, in the end, I just have, say, 5 minutes, but I'm not a makeup artist. So, I need my time to do a liner. So, I always find myself with like 5 minutes, max 10 minutes to do my makeup. And the makeup trick that you just shared was for, say, morning, for women who go to office for a more casual morning look. But if it was, a lunch date or a dinner date or things like that, in those 5 minutes, what kind of thing can I do to make me look, jazzed up, but not too jazzed up, but in 5 minutes?
Bronzer.
It is. I'm not surprised.
So you can use a bronzer because it can contour the face a bit quickly. So you don't have to use a liquid. You can have, and it also adds warmth. So you kill two birds with one stone. A brighter lip and a liquid liner. So a liquid liner, you do need a little bit more time because it can be tricky. And a set of false lashes, pop them on. I just think that will transform massively because you'll have a CC cream on. You can put on your bronzer. A brighter lip always gives us more of an evening look or a bit more glam. So rather than the Vaseline, put a brighter lip on, maybe a pink or a red. And yeah, a set of eyelashes always transforms a look. Even if you did none of the previous steps I just said, put a set of eyelashes on and you're ready, you're good to go.
All right. So I hope all the girls out there are noting these things down because these are the tips to your lifestyle of too glam to give a damn girls. So just note it all down.
Yeah.
Take that pen and note it all down right now.
Note it down.
And yes, with that, unfortunately, we've come to the end of this interview. And Lisa, let me tell you, it was a pleasure speaking to
Oh,
you. And you
thank
are
you.
as charming in person, if not more, than so it was wonderful talking to you.
Oh, thank you so much.